permission. I don't want to do
Oh,
our
yes.
shit. All right. So that way we can review it. All right. So let's
Mhm.
we'll begin again. Connor, you can read us in.
All right. Do you want me to do that for all the descriptions or just the first one?
Just the first one, I think.
All right. We pull back ever so slowly as we hear a weathered male voice.
I went to camp last summer looking to distract myself from the tragedy that my family recently endured. Didn't realize that was just the beginning. None of us did. No one
All
knows
right,
the
I gotta
truth.
stop you.
Yep.
Sorry. Um, I see this voiceover just to be more serious, not like you're about to cry.
Hmm.
Um, so I want it to be more ominous, not as much sad.
Okay.
Like it is a tragedy that happened. Obviously, it happened, but this isn't Christian crying. This is Christian, more of an ominous warning of what's to come.
Okay.
But I want it serious and ominous, like not. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah.
So
Got
yeah,
it.
I just try to yeah. So let's try that one again. You're doing
Yeah.
good though.
And
Doing good.
if I can add to that, for all of you guys, let's all try to give everything a little more air. Take it a little bit more slowly. Give it some space to breathe.
Hmm.
Uh, Almost all of these scenes are going to require some of that, just to kind of heighten the suspense a little bit and let the emotions land. So I don't think we can be too generous with the amount of air we give it.
Got it. So I'm gonna just go from
Yeah.
top line. Okay. I went to camp last summer looking to distract myself from the tragedy that my family recently endured. Didn't realize that was just the beginning. None of us did. No one knows the truth. No one would believe me anyway. That's what happens with ghost stories.
Dustin, you're the most unathletic person I've ever met. Have you ever played sports before? Or do
All
you
right.
just sit?
Sorry. You're that I like. Brennan, you've done a lot better. You were good last audition. I really liked how some of the later lines you were saying it more natural for Luke, but the parts where you're talking shit to Dustin don't. It still feels a little like forced. And what I
Alright,
mean by that is try to make it natural. Imagine if you were talking shit to him in real life, not doing it
okay,
just acting, but if you were actually doing it as you're like yourself.
okay.
All right. So let's try that one again where you make fun of Dustin for being a shitty athlete or being slow as fuck.
Okay. Dustin, you're the most unathletic person I've ever met. Have you ever played sports before? Or do you just sit in your basement all day doing God knows what?
Suck me, Luke.
What'd you say?
All right,
Sloth?
Dustin. You're doing good. I like the voice. Gotta be a little louder. I know we told you guys not to be too loud because theater people are sometimes really loud, but gotta be a little bit louder than that, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, I called you Dustin. I didn't call you Ben.
It's
My
alright.
bad. It's good getting you into method acting. Ugh. All right, so you're gonna say that line again. Suck me, Luke, but a little bit louder.
Okay. Suck me, Luke.
What'd you say? Sloth?
Chill out, guys, and keep it down. You wanna get caught?
Jack won't do anything. Tomorrow's Parents' Day. What's a good tip?
I am not talking about our weird counselor. This is private property. It's the higher security I'm worried about.
I'll keep up. Sorry. How did you know this was here?
I didn't know. I just had a hunch.
We should go
All right,
back.
I want you to say that line again, but I want you to be a little surprised that you had the hunch
Mhm,
because clearly you should not, you've never been here before in your life. You shouldn't know this. It was
mhm,
here. So you're surprised that you know it was here. Like
mhm,
it's like, yeah. So
mhm.
Christian, say it again, but I want you to be a little surprised.
uh,
Okay.
let's have Ben read them in.
Okay.
How did you know this was here?
I didn't know. I just had a hunch.
Yeah, if I can add a
Go
note on
back.
that. I think I think I understand what Connor's saying, and I agree. You need a beat between those two thoughts, and
Hmm.
the second thought almost has to dawn on you.
Okay.
Okay, because you know you're just realizing for yourself. in this moment that you shouldn't know this.
I'll just cut out the comma because I think that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, just yes,
Yeah.
that's a good suggestion for everybody. Let's try to ignore punctuation for this for the most part and see what we get.
All right, I'll remove the comma later. I'll make an edit
No,
because I
it's
see
okay.
that it makes
No,
it.
I don't suggest you do that, Connor. I would leave the punctuation in, but we will, as part of what we're doing, we'll know whether or not we want to emphasize it or what. I would leave it there though, so
Mhm.
it's a good indication to see it, but then we can deal with it as we need to.
All right.
Yeah, so let's just have Ben read them in again.
How did you know this was here?
I didn't know. I just had a hunch.
We should go back.
Stop being a little bitch.
Dustin,
Hold
What?
up. Again. Um, Luke, that was. I mean, not Luke. Brennan. I like that, but again, let's try to make that a little bit more natural. Like, that did feel somewhat natural, but again, say it like if you were saying it to like your brother or something.
Okay.
Like,
I think I totally, because we got to keep in mind, and you've got the look for this too, Brennan. Luke is kind of like this aloof, standoffish, doesn't give a shit guy. So and maybe that's a lot of false bravado, but on the outside, he appears to not care about anything. So his insults and his poking fun at people probably comes off as very
real.
well, not just real, but
Like
more
he's
like
not joking. Like he's just being a dick.
well, more importantly, almost like they're throwaway lines. Like he's showing some disdain when he insults people. It's like, yeah, I'm so over you that I'm not even gonna struggle to make this insult.
Yeah, he has a mouth. It's like first nature for him.
Yes, that's great. I love that. It's first nature.
Okay.
All right. So let's go back to. I thought you did a fantastic job with that, Ivis. So let's try that one more time. We'll have Ben start us with that line.
How did you know this was here?
I didn't know. I just had a hunch.
We should go back.
Stop being a little bitch.
Yes, I
Dustin,
love that one. I liked it. That was a lot better.
Dustin, lighten up. You'll probably never get to see a place like this again. Come on.
All right, hold up. There. I want you to say that like now it's like you're trying to convince him.
Mhm.
Which I know you were, but now like that can be a little more like that can be I want you to say that line with more excitement. I know some of the other lines I was like, let's not, but that one, I want that to be like that one you're more excited. Like now it's getting fun. You see all the because you're seeing like all these ruins and stuff. So I want that to be more like kind of happy, like basically like, dude, this is awesome. Like why would like kind of like why would you want to go?
Yeah.
I would also like to interject here. Something that I think we should try to keep in mind as we progress is that there is a friendly relationship between these three, even though they may not all know each other as well as Christian and Luke know each other. Maybe Dustin's the new kid in the group, but there is some friendship here. So the interaction between them is not entirely animus. There's some friendliness going on there, and I think the dynamic here is that Luke is the more hard-edged one who's more likely to pick on people. Christian is more inclusive and tends to advocate for Dustin when Luke gets a little overboard.
Mhm.
So I think if we can hint at that kind of a dynamic whenever possible, and right here is a good chance for that. So Christian's kind of coming to his aid, even though Christian picks on him too, because that's just what friends do. He's typically the one that steps in when Luke gets a little bit overboard.
Okay.
So in this line, he's not just trying to convince Dustin, he's also trying to give him a little bit of emotional support.
Got it.
So maybe we take it back to we should go back.
Okay.
We should go back.
Stop being a little bitch.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Ben, I like the way you did it the time before. You had a little bit more energy behind it, and
Oh, yeah.
you were a little more animated.
We should go back.
Stop being a little bitch.
Dustin, lighten up. You will probably never get to see a place like this again. Come on.
Wait up, guys. Ow.
That's like an old bank, right? Maybe there's like gold coins and shit in there. We're gonna be rich.
Hold on.
All right, I'd like to interject here if you don't mind.
Mhm.
So for Luke, this is him stepping out of his shell a little bit and being uncharacteristic. He's not so aloof anymore, and he's not being such a wise ass. He's actually kind of excited because money excites him. So we see a different side of him peeking out here when he gets excited about the building. So maybe there should be a little bit of that in the beginning of that line.
Okay. That's like an old bank, right? Maybe there's like gold coins and shit in there. We're gonna be rich.
Hold on. It's just a gopher snake. Oh no. The snake ate all the gold coins.
Very funny, dick.
Hey, guys, check this out.
Jesus, why is he yelling?
Maybe he found something cool. Let's check it out.
Get out.
Okay. That is pretty cool.
All right. Yeah, it's cool, whatever.
You know who that is, right?
The name is Ripped.
That's Ruck Jones.
Buck Jones?
Jones?
Ruck Jones, former cavalry in the Civil War, turned outlaw in the late 1800s.
Hold up, sorry. Christian and Luke, I know I said that you don't have to say fuck Jones the same exact time when I did the auditions with you, but one of you said fuck Jones too late after the other, because one said fuck Jones, laughed, and then the other said fuck Jones. You don't have to say that this, but like, I do want you to just say it the second Dustin says that's fuck Jones. I want fuck Jones to immediately come out of your mouth, not like a minute or not like 30 seconds later, like immediately, like you're being sarcastic, like fuck Jones, because Ruck Jones is such a lame name. At least they think so. Which so when Dustin says that's Ruck Jones, I want you guys to immediately like fuck Jones. It's the first thing that comes out of your mouth, like right away. It did not take you a second to come up with that. Like it was like instant.
I also want to interject here. There's a little bit of foreshadowing here when Dustin says that's Ruck Jones, because he says it in his best attempt at a gravelly voice. But he doesn't know that the monster has a gravelly voice, so there's foreshadowing here. But in order to be spooky, he says it in a gravelly voice. And part of what the fuck Jones is you guys poking fun at his attempt at a gravelly voice. So you might want to try to mock his gravelly voice as you're saying it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try that again. We'll go from Dustin saying, check it out.
Check it out.
Okay. That is pretty cool.
All right. Yeah. It's cool, whatever.
You know who that is, right?
The name is Ripped.
That's Ruck Jones.
Buck Jones?
Ruck Jones, former cavalry in the Civil War, turned outlaw in the 1800s. He'd follow the wagon trains, kidnap
Hold up,
children.
Dustin. I know that you're reading the lines, obviously, because obviously they weren't memorized yet. But don't try to sound like if you're reading a history book. Try to sound like you're actually, I mean, like you're doing more like if you were having a conversation and you were like telling someone,
Okay, sure.
like say if you were telling one of your friends, you're telling them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like a ghost story type thing. It's more just
I
like,
mean, no, you're I mean, even though it is a ghost story, you're talking to you guys got to be natural, obviously, because think of it. You don't know that you're in a ghost story yet. I mean, Christian gave the voiceover,
Mhm.
but that's because Christian, Christian gave, but like in theory, even though you hear Christian's voiceover at the beginning, obviously in real life, well, not in real life, but in the story, that's basically him telling his story and he's giving the voiceover. So you don't know you're in a ghost story. Christian only refers to it. I mean,
Yeah.
Christian knows the
Mhm.
ghost story like after it happened, and then you're hearing his voiceover as he's telling it, but
I
you
got
don't
you. Yeah.
know. So just be natural with it. All right.
What I would suggest here is that this is Dustin's chance to shine as a smart kid. He's done his
Sure.
research and he knows a lot about this guy, and he's kind of proud of that fact. And he does think it's a cool story. So I think there's a little bit of pride coming out from this. You know, I'm proud that I know this stuff, and I'm going to show off a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
You know
Cool.
something that Luke doesn't. Well, I mean, no one knows it, but that's your edge on Luke.
Because I think Dustin's trying to fit in with these guys. He wants to be cool like them. He wants them to think of him as a friend. He wants to impress them. So this is his chance to say, "Hey, I'm good at this
Mhm.
stuff. I know things, and I can tell you all about this guy."
Cool.
All right, let's take it back to. We could try that joke again. So let's. I like the gravelly voice, by the way. That was funny.
Cool.
Let's take it back to. Let's take it back to check it out, because I think there's a transition here that we need to focus on. At this point in the story, they are inside the bank post office, and it's an old, dusty, kind of lost in time building with various degrees of degradation, um, and they're kind of exploring it a little bit. They're still concerned that the security might find them, so there's that. But then there's this excitement over this poster that you find. So I think there's going to be a little bit of excitement there, but then maybe you bring it back down again because you're still stealth mode to some degree. And
Can
I
I
don't think
ask,
yes,
is this gonna be at the camp or at
this
the
part
studio?
this part will be at the studio. So this
Cool,
is
cool, cool.
August. Um, inside the building, it's not a big room. So there will be a bit of distance between you, but we don't have to overemphasize the volume to get their attention. It's more like you're all whispering and stuff, and then all of a sudden, hey, look what I found. So you raise your voice, but we don't necessarily need you to shout.
Mhm.
But Jesus, why is he yelling? Is kind of a joke because you guys are supposed to be keeping it quiet.
Mhm.
Um, and again, once again, Christian is sort of coming to Dustin's defense. He's not really yelling. He probably found something cool.
Mhm.
Um, there will be we'll Photoshop a cool wanted poster for you. And then I think for Luke, that line is almost a begrudging agreement. Like you almost hate that you have to agree that it's cool, but it is cool. So then Dustin takes this opportunity to start saying who this is about. He knows all about him.
So when you say gravely, that's Ruck Jones. I'm
Gravelly.
wondering if I could gravelly. I'm wondering if I should change it to gravelly plus humorous, because when you're saying that's Ruck Jones and you're intentionally saying it like that, either like you're trying to act cool or like you're also like maybe being a little bit humorous, because like when you're saying it like that, you're not like, since it's clear you're not afraid. Because originally when we wrote it, I thought he was more afraid, but now it's more like you're boasting a little bit about how you know this. So I don't know if I should eh,
Well,
just make a
let me
minor
ask you something,
revision.
Connor. When you first thought about it as him being afraid, let's examine that a little bit. Why would he be afraid at that point?
Originally, I thought because I mean, again, Dustin knows about Ruck Jones, but he did not know that he was here. He did not know that he was gonna find him here.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruck Jones, again, he didn't just kill these kids; he fucking slaughtered them. So, like, I guess it made him uncomfortable knowing that he was at the place where Ruck like
Okay, yeah, that is
massacred
kind
all
of
these
cool. That
people.
is kind of
But
cool,
now I think I kind of see it as he's boasting a little bit because he
right?
knows something
But
that
we
Luke
could, yeah,
doesn't.
but we could have both. So, yeah, because that would be good foreshadowing also. So there's a little bit of ominous tone to it in that Dustin knows how horrific it was because he read up about it, and he
Obviously, he
knows,
doesn't know that Ruck Jones is gonna try to kill him,
right, but he knows
he
the
knows the
history,
dark history.
and
Yeah.
that this guy targeted children. He was so horribly evil, and that he did horrible things to these kids. So that would be kind of frightening if you're a kid, right?
It
So
depends. It depends on the kid. Some kid might think it's interesting because they think he's completely dead. They don't know he's a ghost. So they might think it's cool that they're at a place where all these bad things happened because, like, for example, people go to the Salem, like when people go to Salem, Massachusetts, a lot of times they go to where like these people who were falsely accused as witches drowned. They're not scared. It's entertainment now. It wouldn't be entertainment if it was still happening.
yeah.
But hundreds of years later, it's like
All
now
right, but my take on this, and I don't mean to belabor this, but my take on this was: imagine if Dustin had gone to a Boy Scout camp or something when he was younger, and the guy told the ghost story about Ruck Jones to scare the kids around the campfire, and maybe he used the gravelly voice, and that's where Dustin is getting it from. He remembers the Boy Scout guy saying, "That's it's Ruck Jones," and trying to scare all the kids. So that was my impression of it. Like, he knows about this guy. He was introduced to him at some point, and then went on the dark web and found even more terrible stuff about him. And so there is a little bit of that. I think you're onto something with that. I think there's a little bit of that ominous, just uneasy feeling about. It's like when we think about Hitler. How long ago was that? And you still think how horrific that must have been.
Yeah.
It carries a weight to it because it was so horrific. So I think that's a good idea. And but layered over that is the chance to shine. I know all about this guy. Oh my God. I can show off my knowledge. So that's good feedback. Let's go back a little further since we talked so much about it, and let's start with the glib line. Oh no, the snake.
Mhm. Oh no, the snake ate all the gold coins.
Very funny, Dick.
Hey guys, check this out.
Jesus, why is he yelling?
Maybe he found something cool. Let's check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah, see, that's the transition I'm talking about. I don't think you would bring it down that far.
Okay.
I think you'd still be a little excited. There'd still be a bit of volume to it. Why don't we try this? How about you catch yourself in the middle of the first time when you start yelling, you dial it back in the middle of the sentence because you realize you shouldn't be yelling so loud.
Okay, sure.
All right. So let's do it again from the oh no, the snake.
Oh no, the snake ate all the gold coins.
Very funny, Dick.
Hey guys, check this out.
Jesus, why is he yelling?
Maybe he found something cool. Let's check it out.
Check it out.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
All right. Yeah, it's cool. Whatever.
You know who that is, right?
The name is ripped.
That's Ruck Jones.
Fuck
Oh,
Jones.
Jones.
Ruck Jones, former cavalry in the Civil War, turned outlaw in the late 1800s. He'd follow the wagon trains, kidnap the settlers' children, and demand ransom. Then he started targeting folks who got rich from the gold rush. They say he had millions, until he got bored of his job and took it to the next level.
What's the next level?
But he liked to play with his old cavalry sword. It wasn't about the money anymore. He just liked chopping up kids.
What happened? What ended up happening to him?
No one knows. Just vanished.
I call bullshit. How do you know all this?
Dark web. Truth lies in the dark, Luke.
All right, for that one, that's going to be a visual joke. So we're going to have you do the really stereotypical flashlight under the chin trick. So
Mhm.
maybe at that point you really do try to get funny, and
Okay, sure.
the dark web, and then you do a voice. The truth lies, some kind of affected voice with the flashlight.
Mhm.
So let's just take it back to what's the next level?
So I'm getting the feeling that he's not like scared anymore. He's kind of into the story. Is that true?
He's definitely, yeah, I would agree. He's definitely into the story because he's so happy that he knows this and can share it with the boys and show off his knowledge. But I do think that everybody here, all three of you, have this feeling of unease
Yeah, yeah.
because there's a supernatural force at work, and it is what gave Christian the hint, the hunch to come to this building. You're kind of being drawn to it, and because you're on the surface level worried about the security guard, there's an undercurrent of unease at all points
Mhm.
that's probably going up and down depending upon your situation. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah, I would always have that in mind, that you
Yeah.
guys are
Mhm.
nervous, maybe a little scared. Um, like in Luke's case, he's scared and trying not to show it because he wants to be badass. Um, Dustin might be a little bit more overt, and his unease might show a bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. So
Okay.
having talked about it a bit more, let's take it back. Let's try the fuck Jones again. So just start with the name is ripped.
The name is ripped.
That's Ruck Jones.
Fuck
Jones.
Ruck Jones, former cavalry in the Civil War, turned outlaw in the late 1800s. He'd follow the wagon trails, kidnap the settlers' children, and demand ransom. Well, then he started targeting folks who got rich from the gold rush. They say he made millions until he got bored of the job and took it to the next level.
What's the next level?
He liked to play with his old cavalry sword. It wasn't about the money anymore. He just liked chopping up kids.
What ended up happening to him?
No one knows. He just vanished.
I call bullshit. How do you know all this?
The dark web. The truth lies in the dark, Luke.
Yeah, that was awesome. Now at this point,
Loved it.
yeah, at this point, I think Luke we're probably going to have to do some physical humor here, where Luke gets a little bit pissed off at Dustin trying to step up and be funny. It's like, hell no, I'm the funny guy here. I'm the wise ass, not you, you little. And so maybe there's like you punch him in the shoulder or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So so Dustin would shut off his flashlight. It would go dark. Then maybe we'd cut to Luke, show him getting a little bit annoyed. No, you're not the funny guy. Boom, and then we can jump cut to the exterior. Now, Connor, you've got written here. Luke gets a chill. So
Which part?
I'm thinking that's like some of that undercurrent, some of that supernatural freakiness going on. So maybe we can show that when that would actually be cool, because if he shows his false bravado tough guy inside and he shoulder punches Dustin, but then they walk outside and suddenly he's feeling scared, that would be great.
Yeah, I felt like when I wrote it, when I made it that Luke gets a chill, Luke's trying to act like he's not scared. That's why he goes like when he goes like we care, but he was saying like we care to try to hide that he was now frightened.
Nice.
That's how I imagined it when I
All
wrote
right,
it.
cool. So I'll try to remember to make a note for an insert shot of that on the porch. That can be one of the porch shots. All right, so now we're back outside. So this will be first day, and it's outside of the bank post office building.
I still have a question for the porch. are we gonna be? Are we actually gonna be? Since we plan on doing all the exteriors at the abandoned village, except the ambulance scene, which we want to do in your parking lot in the studio. The porch part we plan on doing at the village.
Yeah, and that building with the cool front.
All right, because I didn't know if you know how we're just getting tight shots of the building because the interior that we build in your studio is obviously going to be bigger.
Yes.
But so I'm wondering if it would make it harder to fake it when
No,
we have.
it'll be easy.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's take it from exterior abandoned camp on page 6.
Like we care about Guston's lame ass story.
I think it sounds interesting. Send me those links when this camp ends.
You'll need a Tor browser. It's pretty complicated. I'd have to show you.
What the? My chain. Did I drop it?
What's the big deal?
His mom gave him that chain.
All right, hold up. At this point, you two are whispering to each other because you don't want Christian to overhear you. He's a few feet in front of you, looking around on the ground frantically, freaking out that he lost his mom's chain. So you guys are having a little private moment with each other. And I think, Brennan, that this is a rare opportunity for Luke to actually show a little bit of heart because he knows why Christian's freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take it back from my chain.
What? My chain. Did I drop it?
What's the big deal?
His mom gave him that chain. She died like 6 months ago.
Him too, huh?
What?
Do you guys see it? Help me look.
Dude, you guys nailed it. There is good chemistry here. I knew it.
There is great chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you guys were gonna like have good chemistry. It
We
was
got
obvious.
lucky, and we want to thank you guys. This is a fantastic cast.
It is.
All right, cool. Let's move on to. Let me see if there's anything I want to say about this. All right. So we're gonna jump cut to probably an insert shot of me wearing Ruck Jones, at least enough of it. I might not have to be in full prosthetics, but I'm envisioning this, Connor, you correct me if I'm wrong, as sort of a silhouette, vague image of Ruck walking past. They hear the noise and then they take off and duck behind the bushes, and then there's an ominous figure that sort of skates by.
You know how I imagine it? You know how if you see one of those like if you've seen Insidious or The Conjuring when the where they do really good suspense for like when the bad people come, they jump because it just is like a quick shot like that. Like it actually gets people to jump because it just quickly. So I imagine more something like that. Like when the person walks, it's just a quick shot, kind of like in the Annabelle movies too. Even though I didn't think the Annabelle were that good, one thing they nailed was when the people Annabelle possessed, like they just came. It was like just a quick shot of them walking by, like and it's and you hear like a noise. I mean, like in post we'd worry about the noise part, but like the way you just do a quick shot, not like a wide shot where they just walk by, because this isn't like a detective movie.
Yeah.
More like just a quick, like a just really quick, like
Yeah.
to seeing them walk by.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. So at this point, the three boys are kind of crouched behind some bushes. They see the mysterious figure, and then they start whispering to each other.
I think though after I might watch like Annabelle or something again just to before I go over the shot list with the DP. Because when I make the shot list with the DP next week, just so I can like see it again before I have an exact, like I have an idea of how I want it, kind of like in those exorcism and like Conjuring, like
The Nun.
Insidious like stuff, but like just to review it again before I determine the exact shot.
All right,
I
sounds
think,
good.
with the DP. But yeah, we'll keep going with the script. But see, that's also why it's good doing reads, because then you get not just to get people in character, but then you see what works, and then you see what improvements can be made to the
Yes,
story too.
yes, and not only that, but with all of us on the same page like this, it's only going to help us tell this story more cohesively, which is why I really enjoy doing these kinds of reads. So let's take it from Luke sees a man.
Sorry, I don't know what happened with my phone.
It's okay. It's page 7.
The top of it.
Yeah.
Like we care about Dustin's lame ass story.
I think it sounds interesting. Send me those links when the camp ends.
You'll need a Tor browser. It's pretty complicated. I'd have to show you.
What the? My chain. Did I drop it?
What's the big deal?
Mom gave him that chain. She died like 6 months ago. Car accident.
Him too, huh?
What?
Do you guys see it? Help me look.
That wasn't a security guard.
We have.
Take it back to that. This is where you ducked behind the bushes and you're worried that he'll hear you. So this has to be hushed.
That wasn't a security guard.
We have to keep looking.
We should get back before Jack realizes we're not there.
For once, I'm with Dustin.
5 minutes. We split up, find the necklace, then we go.
All right. 5 minutes.
Yell if you find anything. No text.
I don't have a cell phone. I'll hoot like an owl if I find it.
Whatever. Weirdo.
You know what I was thinking when you say I'll hoot like an owl? Maybe be like you were saying it kind of like as a joke, Dustin. Is obviously
sure.
like I wrote that in there, but like obviously that's not something a person would say. When I wrote that in there, I kind of said it as like he's saying it as a joke, like, oh, I'll hoot like an owl. Like Dustin thinks he's being funny, but he's not. He's a nerd. In that case, he was trying too hard to try to be funny, like
Well, I
Christian
thought that could be like another throwback to his Boy Scout days, because don't they do that kind of stuff? Learn the calls?
No, they don't.
Are you sure?
I was in Boy Scouts for a little bit. We did not hoot like an owl. Dustin was being socially awkward. He was trying to joke around and be funny, but he wasn't.
I'm Googling that because I'm almost certain they used to work on bird calls and stuff like that.
So is
Not when
the
I
whole
was
thing
there,
then a
maybe
joke, or is
different
just
generation.
I don't think it's a
hoot
joke.
like an owl part?
I don't think it's a joke. I think it's Dustin trying to be smart again. He's like, oh, I don't have a cell phone, but I have a crafty solution.
All right, we'll go with it for
Yeah.
now. If it doesn't seem natural later, we can always. But we'll
Um,
go with it.
Also, you took out the poundage joke, which I thought was funny, but
Well,
we
the
can't,
reason because Dustin's not fat.
right, but can't we
Poundage
replace it?
implies that he's fat.
Yes, I understand, Connor. I know why you did it.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, can't we replace it with a nerd joke? Like,
All right.
for once I'm with Genius here or something like that?
But that's not funny. If anything, he's not, that's complimenting him, even though that's not meant to be
Not
a
if he says it
compliment.
sarcastically, it's not.
It's still though, even if he says it sarcastically, he's still saying he's a genius. Like there's really nothing.
Well, what would Luke call a smart kid?
If he's trying to be mean,
Yeah.
like I would say either dweeb, nerd, dork, or maybe instead of making a joke that he's a nerd, maybe make a joke about how he's socially awkward. Because think of it, his joke about him being unathletic, that's not necessarily calling him smart. He's not making fun of him for being smart. He's making fun of him for not being athletic. So like,
But this is
there's
after
ways he can make.
this is after he told the whole
Yeah,
story
I
about
know,
Ruck.
but I'm saying there's ways he can make fun of him without. I mean, is there a word for someone who doesn't have a life?
What if he called him teacher's pet?
What's the term for someone who lives in their basement? Because he made that joke before, and maybe he's sticking with that.
Troll?
No.
Incel.
What are those rats that are hairless and they live in like holes? Rat moles?
Mole
Maybe
rat?
he calls him
Yes.
Dracula, or I don't know if the
Mole
audience
rat?
would get.
All right, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Or maybe here's one. I'm with the funless vampire. He doesn't suck blood, he just sucks. No,
No.
I agree with the funless. No, that's too long of an insult.
All right, we'll think
Um,
about it. All right, let's take it back to that wasn't a security guard.
I wasn't a security guard.
I have to keep looking.
You should get back before Jack realizes we're not there.
For once, I'm with Dustin.
5 minutes. We split up, find the necklace, then we go.
All right, 5 minutes.
All right, I'm going to interject.
I got one. How about for once I'm with the socially awkward douchebag?
Oh, no way. Good Lord. We'll think about it. We'll come back to that.
I
But
think that works.
no, it doesn't. I think what
You know what? This could be funny. Luke could say, "For once, I'm with the virgin here," because he's trying to, even though they might not. I'm assuming Luke's a virgin too.
that
But
could
like, he's
work.
trying to be cool.
That could work. We'll have to come back to that because that
For
could
once,
work.
I'm with the virgin.
But I think in order for that to work, we'd have to have a setup for it earlier. But that could work. So I'll keep
Not
that.
really. I
All right.
mean,
Well, let's worry about that later. I'm forgetting my train of thought here. There's a.
what's a virgin here? He can
I
do
think.
that.
I think at this point, Ivis, Christian is almost pleading with them
Mhm.
when he says 5 minutes we split up, because that's how we want to show how important this necklace, this chain and locket are to him.
Mhm.
So I think that maybe there has to be a bit more of a less urgent, but more pleading, more convincing them to help you kind of thing, asking for their help. So let's think about it like that and try it one more time.
Okay.
Wasn't a
Where-
sec-
No, go ahead. You got it. Go ahead, Brennan.
Okay. That wasn't a security guard.
We have to keep looking.
You should get back before Jack realizes we're not there.
For once, I'm with the virgin.
5 minutes. We split up, we find the necklace, then we go.
No, it didn't. It still sounds the same. Can we workshop that for a couple seconds?
Mhm.
All right. Let me think for a second. Give me a minute. Think back when you were younger, Ivis, and maybe you wanted your mom and dad to give you a little bit more time on your Xbox or whatever, a little bit more time on the phone. I don't know what you would be asking for more time for, but you're asking because you're almost 99% convinced they're going to say no, but you have to ask. You're absolutely motivated to ask. It's that important. You're risking everything by asking because they might get really mad at you. Think about it like that, and then let's try it one more time. And this time, let's start with Dustin and the "we should get back" line.
You should get back before Jack realizes we're not there.
For once, I'm with Dustin.
5 minutes.
No, I like the whole. Unless Noel just said not to use the virgin part.
No, we could say virgin if you want. I think it's funny.
I'm with the virgin. I've been saying I'm with Dustin. Noel was right when he wants an insult. I'm saying for once I'm with Dustin, even though that's a little bit of an insult. I think like to be more funny, like the sarcastic Luke, like obnoxious thing, like who picks on people. Saying I'm with the virgin makes more because it also fits with the whole you're teenagers thing, because you're acting your age by making a fucking
and
obnoxious
it's
comment like
Luke's
that.
style of wise ass. I think it works. So yeah. So for now, let's replace it with the virgin. So let's take back.
And it's
let's
Luke
take
trying
it,
to act cool because Luke's probably a fucking virgin too. But he has
yeah.
no.
Good point. Good point. So let's take it back again to the "we should get back."
Oh, sorry. We should get back before Jack realizes we're not there.
For once, I'm with the virgin.
5 minutes. We split up, find the necklace, then we go.
All right, 5 minutes.
If you find anything, please yell. No text.
I don't have a cell phone. I'll hoot like an owl if I find it.
Hold up. My one thing, this isn't you guys. Would they be able to text at this place? I mean, at an abandoned place, they don't have Wi-Fi, right? Which means they can't. And also, if they did have Wi-Fi, then in theory, they would have called the cops.
You can still
When,
get service, I think.
what?
Maybe a cell tower.
Yeah.
All
Why
right.
would they have? Why would they have called the cops?
Later, when Ruck
Oh,
tries to
later.
kill them, because when
Yeah.
Luke
Well,
runs away originally, trying to like flee for himself, but then has a change, then has a redemption, even though he's
later, if you want, we could add in that the supernatural stuff is the mojo is in full effect because Ruck shows up. So there's like they're in the ghost zone now, and no cell phone coverage there.
all
So
right.
we could always, if you want to, we could always show an insert of somebody trying to get some service and their phone won't.
I think that makes it more not necessarily complicated, but I don't think that's necessary. I wonder if I should just but I wonder if we should just take out like the call or text part, like just come find us or something. Like,
Hmm.
because it doesn't add to the story, it doesn't make the story any better saying text. So unless
Well,
it makes the
it
story
does
better.
it does explain the "I'll hoot like an owl" line because he has to tell him I don't have a cell phone.
I mean, if anything, none of them, I mean, that kind of goes with like there's no service. All right, we could, if you think that could get confusing, like the audience might say, why didn't they just use their phones? If we take out the phone part, then we can keep that. But I honestly think that saying I'll text, I don't think it really, I don't think you would you have service when you're at again, because again, this is like an abandoned town that they're at.
We can work on that on our own time. We don't need to
Yeah,
dwell
we
on
don't need
it
to
for
do
the
that
read.
now.
So we'll come back. But for now, let's stick with this. All right.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I liked the way that was done. So let's move on. Um, let's take it from page 8. Um, uh, Exterior abandoned camp.
What is it?
Can't lose it. It was my mom's.
All right. I need to interject here. Brennan, that line is a realization
Okay.
for Luke. And Luke and Christian are the closest of the three. They're kind of buddies. And so there's you know, Luke is more likely to let his crusty exterior down with Christian than he is with Dustin.
Okay.
And in this case, you can tell that your friend is clearly distressed.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool. Let's try it again then.
What is it?
I can't lose it. It was my mom's.
Yeah, I know.
Who else knows?
Uh, everyone, but you're not the only one, you know? I lost my dad about a year ago. It was an accident, too.
Car crash?
No, it was like this freak thing. He drowned when he was out fishing. That was the one time I didn't go with him. He was a great swimmer.
I'm
He
sorry, I'm
taught
gonna have to interrupt for a second. When you say that's the one time I didn't go with him, maybe you can say that like a little bit guilty. I mean, and not like like you didn't kill him, but you feel guilty because think of it, you didn't know that he got that like a bad guy drowned him. You thought like he just drowned, which
Okay.
means that if you were there, you would have been able to save him because you know how to swim too. So say if like his leg got injured or something and he was drowning, you could have pulled him out. So
Right.
you feel guilty for not being there because you think that if you were there, he'd still be that you would have saved him from drowning.
Okay.
Since we've interjected, I've got a note or two myself. Um, I think we need to eliminate punctuation for the most part here, to the best of our ability, because there's some thoughts that aren't being delivered as single thoughts. So, for instance, you're not the only one, you know. That's one thought. Also, it was an accident too. That's all one thought. So just ignore that punctuation.
Okay. Okay.
And with this paragraph, this is an important paragraph for Luke, because if there's a place in this story where you open up the most, this is it.
Yeah.
You're talking about losing your dad. So the real Luke shows through here, not the false bravado, not the wise ass, the real kid,
Yeah.
the hurt, scared, lonely kid.
Okay.
And there, like Connor said, there's this guilt, unnecessary guilt that you can't shake, that maybe you could have saved him if you were there because he taught you how to swim. But the other thing is, there's a nagging realization building here that's probably been there since he died, that how the hell did this happen? He's a great swimmer. He's the last person on earth who should have drowned. He taught me how to swim, and I can swim great because he's so good. He taught me how to swim really well.
Something ain't right. Yeah.
Exactly. Something ain't right.
Something's fit. Yeah.
The other thing is, as you guys start sharing your stories with one another and you start to you're connecting the dots here, everybody's lost a parent. You know, you're not the
Well, a
only
loved
one.
one, not everyone. It was a parent. Like some people it might have been an aunt or something.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
everyone lost a loved
Everybody
one.
lost someone. So, you know, your things are starting to add up, and you're not liking the answer they're coming to. So all of this is bubbling up underneath. So having said all of that, let's take it back to what is it?
What is it?
I can't lose it. It was my mom's.
Yeah. I know.
Who else knows?
Everyone. But you're not the only one, you know. I lost my dad about a year ago. It was an accident, too.
All right, take that back. That's all one thought. So just workshop that line for me. Say it a couple times.
Which one? The last one? The last
Yeah.
one? I keep not reading the last like word. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's on the next page. So that was
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
that's why. Yeah, I'm reading it, and then I'm like, oh, there's no word, and then yeah.
All right, well then, all the more reason to workshop it. So just say that line for me about 3 times.
Okay. It was an accident too. It was an accident too. It was an accident too.
All right, one more time. This time, emphasize the word "it."
It was an accident too.
Okay. All right. So one last time, let's take it back from what is it?
What is it?
I can't lose it. It was my mom's.
Yeah, I know.
Who else knows?
Everyone. But you're not the only one, you know. I lost my dad about a year ago. It was an accident too.
Car crash?
No, it was this freak thing. He drowned when he was out fishing.
All right, I'm wondering, do you think we should take out it was an accident too? Because obviously they think it was an accident. I mean, they're getting an idea that it wasn't, but unless I mean, even though they got an idea it wasn't, unless they're 100% convinced it wasn't an accident, if they thought it was, they wouldn't feel the need to say it was an accident. Because drowned normally implies that that someone didn't drown you. Because if someone drowned you, you wouldn't say they drowned. You'd say they were murdered or this person drowned them. So when you say drowned, it implies that it was unintentional. So I'm wondering if he shouldn't even say it was an accident. Maybe he should just say it was a freak thing.
Well,
Uh,
I
Guys,
mean,
give me a second. My laptop's actually about to die. I'm just gonna grab a charger really
Yeah,
quick.
no worries. Take your
no
time,
worries.
man.
Okay.
You're
Sorry.
good.
There's other ways for someone to lose their life. It could have been illness, cancer.
Yeah, my point is we don't need to say it was an accident because it's kind of implied that they would think it's an accident. They would only be, I mean, him saying it was an accident makes me think he's trying to convince himself that it was.
Well,
Which,
that's
yes,
cool.
there's
Well, that's cool then. I like it even more now. Why do you want to take it out?
because the audience, it makes it a little subjective. I mean, it could mean that he's trying to convince himself because he'd rather think it was an accident than think it was on purpose. But at the same time, maybe not, because if it was an accident, you then can say if he was there, he could have stopped it. But if he knew it was Ruck, he can't say that he could have stopped it because really what would have happened is he would have got murdered too. Because I mean, if Ruck wasn't a ghost, maybe Luke could have just killed the motherfucker, but he really can't because Ruck's a ghost. He would have, they both would have died then. But
Yeah, you don't even need to bring Ruck into it. We're at
no,
this
I
point,
mean, yeah, because it's not, we're not making it official yet. We're
right?
implying, but I feel like we should take out, he
I
should
don't.
just say it was a freak thing without
No,
the
I
whole
don't. I don't
accident
think
thing.
so. I think it makes sense because as opposed, I lost my dad about a year ago. It was an accident too, as opposed to he died of cancer or he died of some other
Well,
disease or
he
something.
goes into saying it drowned, so if he says it was a freak thing and then he goes into drowned, it's still clarifying he drowned, whether he used the word accident or not.
Yeah, but he has to answer the question, say no, it was a freak thing. Why
That's
would
my
why would
point.
Christian ask him if it's a car crash unless he's prompted by it was an accident too? It
Um,
works. It works. Let's just leave.
alright, yeah, you got a point.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Well,
of
Yeah.
course.
okay, so the line "Who else knows?" Since Luke and I are friends, like, am I asking out of like worried about who else know? Like, you
No,
know?
I mean, you guys are friends, but you met at this camp. You didn't know each other before. But the reason you're asking is because you didn't go make it, like, you didn't go tell everyone
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the camp, hey guys, guess what? Like, so you didn't know that everyone knows, but it's really not that hard because think of it. It's a camp. I mean, it's not like that big. I mean, like, you're all living in like tents together and they camp in shit or cabins or whatever. So all you need to do is tell one person and everyone will overhear you. But you didn't think everyone knew. But the reason it's a reveal is because then when Dustin goes him too, it opens the door for to hear that other people did because Dustin goes him too, it implies that other people did, and then Luke is very blatant on it, but you weren't aware that everyone knew, but all it takes is one person to know because either they can go tell everyone and be an asshole or other people could overhear you because
Mm-hmm.
it's not
It
that
all
hard.
it also alludes to the fact that there's a scuttlebutt going around this camp that everybody lost a family member.
Like there's
Mm-hmm.
awareness, like people
Yeah.
are questioning it.
Like it's bubbling up underneath. Like, what is going on here? Everybody here seems to have lost somebody close to them. That's
Something's not
weird.
right like
Yeah.
that. Something's
So
wrong.
it alludes to that, that people are talking about it. It's an issue, and that's why everyone knows because it's spread around.
Mm-hmm.
So you told Luke, and maybe part of the question is why did you tell everyone? I told you in confidence, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also kind of surprising that everybody would be talking about it. Like, why is it such a topic?
Mm-hmm. Makes
And
sense.
then he answers by saying, "But you're not the only one," because Luke has started to realize, I lost someone, he lost someone, Dustin lost someone, all these other kids lost someone. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me let Brendan back in. Cool. All right. As soon as we see his face, we'll start it up again. There he is.
Oh,
Cool.
awesome.
All right, so I just lost my place. I gotta stop scrolling around. Here we go. All right, so we're still on page 8, and we can start with what is it?
What is it?
I can't lose it. It was my mom's.
Yeah, I know.
Who else knows?
Uh, everyone. But you're not the only one, you know? I lost my dad about a year ago. It was an accident, too.
Car crash?
No, it was this freak thing. He drowned when he was out fishing. That was the one time I didn't go with him. He was a great swimmer. He taught me it actually wasn't that far from here. Lake Okie. Doesn't make sense.
Nothing does anymore.
I want to interject here, if you don't mind. That paragraph again, like I said, this is Luke really. This is Luke's moment. This is where our hearts go out to him. So, I want to see some roller coaster in this paragraph. Got to take us on a little bit of a ride emotionally. So at first, I think when you're answering the question of car crash, probably a little bit of anger coming out from you, I would think, because you're pissed off that you lost him to this freak thing. It shouldn't have happened. But then that guilt sneaks in that you can't get rid of because you didn't go with him. So there might be some frustration with the next line, exasperation, and then it transitions again. So I mean, this is a lot of roller coaster here.
Okay.
When you say he was a great swimmer, that's kind of like you struggling to accept that this freak thing happened when he's such a good swimmer. How is it possible that he drowned? And then the line that you say he taught me, that's your justification for those feelings. How could he have drowned when he's such a great swimmer? He taught me, for Christ's sake. And look how good I am. If he taught me and I'm this good, my dad was like an Olympic swimmer. He should never have drowned. And then you bring it back down again to, it actually wasn't that far from here. That could be less emotional. But the last bit of it, that I think is, really latching on to that. There's something really messed up going on here.
Okay.
All right.
How do you want the second line again? He was drowned when he was fishing. How do you want that line?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you how. I
Okay.
believe in why. So
Sure.
I would say that maybe like again, you guys are now drawing the line that like you're not officially saying it wasn't an accident, but you're now suspicious. So I want you to say it like you're now starting to get a little bit angry. All right, like maybe not angry is the right word but I want you to start saying it more like you're really starting to question whether it's an accident. Maybe not anger is the right word because you don't think,
or
oh,
how
they
about this,
murdered, but
Connor? How about this? He's been questioning it, but he's never really said it out loud before. You know what I mean? So this is this
yeah,
is this is like that final dawning on him
maybe,
where he
yeah,
voices those feelings.
maybe like it's now a change and shift a little bit from sorrow to like a little bit angry because if it's an accident it's just going to be sorrow. I mean, you could still be angry at accidents too. Obviously if something tragic happens you'll probably be angry about it regardless, like why the
Yeah,
fuck, but you're going to be more mad. All right, this is funny. I don't know why I just laughed. They're going to be more mad if it was fucking murder than it was an accident because
sure,
accidents happen, but murder, that's a whole nother story because that means someone did it on fucking purpose.
right.
um so
So
yeah,
let's ask Brennan why he would say that. Tell me why you would say it.
Say what? The second one?
Yeah, he
Like,
drowned when he was out fishing.
I feel like, I mean, if he's trying to like almost rethink it, come back to it type of situation, like he hasn't been asked that before. I don't know. I feel like he'd be like he hasn't really processed it, right? Kind of thing. Like he's not really like he's saying it out loud. He's trying to come to terms with it still.
Well, I want you to say I, not he. So Luke, tell me why you would say that.
I am not fully processed. I haven't fully processed it. I'm angry. I'm confused. I think I'm a lot of emotions,
You're
and
doubtful. That's what
I'm
I want to
yeah.
hear.
Don't answer for him. You be
Okay,
quiet.
sorry.
I am almost like spitting the words out loud, kind of like re-saying it. Like I'm like reliving it through my head. Like when someone asks me that question, I'm just caught off guard for a second, and I have to like think about it, and it's fucked up.
I love all of that. I love all of that. All right, so let's do it again, and I want all of that to bubble up. Okay.
Okay,
All right, so let's take it back to what is it?
what is it?
I can't lose it. It was my mom's.
Yeah, I know.
Who else knows?
Uh, everyone, but you're not the only one. I lost my dad about a year ago. It was an accident too.
Car crash?
No, it was this freak thing. He drowned when he was out fishing. That was the one time I didn't go with him. He was a great swimmer. He taught me. Actually, wasn't that far from here. Lake Oki. Doesn't make sense.
All right, Luke, I gotta, yes, you are angry, but you're not 100% convinced that either way, because now it's coming across like you're convinced, leading more towards he was murdered. You find it suspicious, but you're still leaning towards that it was an accident at
Okay.
the moment. You have doubts, but if like you're more than 50% convinced that was an accident, so you can be angry, but still be more like suspicious. But like, just keep in mind you don't think it was intentional. You just find it like hard to believe.
Or you don't want to believe that it was intentional.
Got it.
But you most likely don't believe it was intentional. But you have doubts something's not right. But you do overall think it was an accident.
I think
So,
the first half of that paragraph was awesome, Brennan.
hmm
I think once you get past he was a great swimmer, that I don't like to demonstrate, but I'm going to do it this one time, okay? I would, if it were me, I would say he taught me because I'm trying to stress the fact that I'm a really good swimmer, and if he taught me, that means he's what was an even better swimmer than I am, and I would not have drowned. So why did my dad drown? If he taught me, and I'm this good, and then after that, you could dial it back again, and maybe even take a breath after he taught me, because it's you got a little worked up and you need to dial it back down again. So you could take a break there and then
Okay.
launch into the matter of factness of it actually wasn't that far from here. The last line, it doesn't make sense. I think, like what Connor is saying, there's still that immense doubt because you just don't want to believe, and it seems so impossible that it was a malicious thing.
So don't stress that line too much. Kind of just like be like,
I think that last line is you being just so fucking pissed and exasperated and frustrated and confused. It just doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense.
doesn't make, yeah.
He was a great swimmer. He shouldn't have drowned. Why am I thinking it was intentional? who would kill my dad. All of it's crazy.
Right.
So, it's and not only that, but that line also refers to the overall situation you're in, not just your dad, but none of this makes sense. All the crap that's happening at this camp and the fact that other people have lost loved ones, none of this makes sense, right?
Yeah.
All right. That was really good work, though. I think you
Do you
took the
think Luke should get a little hysterical in the last line?
I
Because
don't think
now
his I don't think
he's
hysterical.
breaking out from like wannabe tough guy to showing that he's just hurting.
I don't think hysterical, no, but I
Okay.
think there should be here's what I would say. I think it's a release. That line is a release of all of this frustration. He's finally vocalizing this. This might be
He's
the first
opening
time.
up.
Yeah.
He's like
And
coming out, but not
it,
in that kind of way. He's
this
like
might be the
coming
very
out with
first
emotion.
time that these feelings have come out as words. Maybe he's been struggling with this internally since his dad died and he's never spoken to anyone about it before. At least not like this.
Yeah, he just lashes out at people to cover up the pain.
Right. Yeah, dude. Exactly. So, like, see what I mean? This is a beefy paragraph. This paragraph has a lot of juice behind it. So, and we can work on it some more as we progress. But I think you got a really good handle on it. So let's move on.
You got the workshopping it, by the way. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I like
Yeah.
doing it. You guys are fun to work with.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying this. Just like I enjoyed the auditions. Like these are actually like this is actually fun.
All right, so let's take it. Let's move down to interior Old Bank Post Office. Luke and Christian search the floor.
Hey, where the hell is Dustin? I haven't heard a fucking owl, have you?
Dustin! Dustin!
I think for that, Ivis, the first time you say Dustin, maybe it's one of those hushed yells
Yeah.
you do sometimes when you're trying to get someone's attention, but you don't want to be too loud about it, and then it
Right.
gets louder because you realize he's not answering.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dustin! Dustin!
Hello, boys. Oh, and for this, when Jack appears, you're at the door, looking out the door. So we're gonna actually film this on the first day. We're gonna put the camera inside that little cabin, and we're gonna look over your shoulder as you're kind of leaning out the door. Dustin, Dustin. But the second part of this we will film at the studio, where you hear Jack say, "Hello, boys." He's already in the cabin. So now you guys spin around and he's behind you in the cabin. How the hell did he get in? There's one door and you're in it. So this is one of those freaky bits that happen with the ghost story where suddenly this dude, this weird camp counselor, just appears behind you somehow. So that, as far as blocking goes, you get freaked out, you spin around, he's behind you. Then we're going to focus on that conversation, and probably Ivis, you'll move away from the door a little bit because the next thing you know, Ruck appears and is blocking the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're sandwiched between Jack and Ruck, and your escape is blocked.
Okay.
All right. So so let's take it back to the top. Luke and Christian search the floor.
Hey, where the hell's Dustin? I haven't heard a fucking owl.
All right,
Have you?
I'm gonna interject. That's more of a realization, so I don't think it would be such an explanatory,
Okay.
or it's kind of like you're looking around, and then it dawns on you,
Okay.
where's the virgin?
Okay. Hey, where the hell's Dustin? I haven't heard a fucking owl, have you?
Dustin! Dustin!
Hello, boys.
And see, like, this part's not as much like when you say hello, boys, from a DP standpoint. there would just be a quick shot of you there. Not like just a wide shot where you just come in and it's like, hello boys. Like it would just be a quick shot of you there, like, or just a quick cut of you walking, kind of like, again, like you've probably seen Annabelle or Insidious, which that's not something we'd work on during the script read. Maybe when blocking, we would just do a test shot of that.
My
But
thought on that is we jump cut from Christian at the door to an OTS of me. So you're seeing the back of my head as I say,
yeah, so it just cuts and it could be like, and then you could just put like a sound and put, yeah, it's doing like what they do in like Annabelle and instead of like all the more recent films that, but like a lot of the exorcism movies now, they focus on that suspense, those jump cuts, where a lot of the
yeah.
horror movies before that didn't.
All right.
So
So
yeah.
yeah, so there'll be a jump cut to camera behind my head, looking at the back of my head. You guys will spin around and look at me. Hello, boys.
Mhm.
Shouldn't you be back at camp, asleep in your cabin? Your parents are coming tomorrow. I'd hate for them to get the wrong idea about our program.
Jack, sorry, we got lost. We were just,
Looking for this?
yeah. Thanks. Can I?
Not so fast.
Look, Jack, we're sorry, but we need to go. There's a guy lurking around here. Scary dude.
And we need to find Dustin.
Dustin's already gone.
What?
He met a friend of mine. I'd like you to meet him too. Jack, you old son of a bitch.
Holy shit!
This here's Ruck Jones, boys. He's the one that told me to start this camp. He gave me your names, your family's names. Ruck did some prelim work. A lot of fire engines today. Then we just had to wait for you to come. You boys look familiar to me. You know why? Because you're descendants of those good-for-nothing bluebellies who managed to trap me in this here bank in the year of our Lord 1873 and saw fit to bludgeon me to death.
What?
Yup, you look just like them. And besides, I hate kids. Now which one of you should I slice up first?
Our parents know we're here.
Okay, that, Luke, is you being scared.
Well, also
Okay.
maybe when you say parents, now I'm seeing a continuity error. A lot of you, one of your parents is dead. So saying parents implies that both your parents are alive.
No, it means all the parents of the three. There's still more than one parent.
Yeah, but
They're
I
just not
wonder,
both Brennans.
yeah, but it makes me think when you say our parents, you're saying each person has two living parents.
Well, you only have two options. You could say our parent or our parents, and our parent isn't going to work. So,
What if he just says people know we're here?
no, I think you need to say our parents. Our
All right,
parents.
if you think so, I trust
Yeah.
your judgment. No, you worked on enough, you acted in enough films to know. I
It's
just
fine. Because when you say our parents, there's an emotional tug there. If you say people, that doesn't mean shit.
our people.
Our people know we are here. My chauffeur knows I'm
I
here.
wasn't gonna be our people, just people. But if you think our parents works, that
Yeah,
works.
our parents, because
Our people.
each one of them has at least one surviving parent. So, so our parents know we are here, and that's the first time we see Luke like full out terrified. All facade is dropped at this point. No more tough guy, no more wise ass. There's a fucking ghost in front of you. This is a horrible looking apparition, this monstrous, hideous face, bloody sword. This is terrifying. I mean, imagine if you could for a second, in reality, if that existed. If you actually saw something like that, the sheer impossibility of it coming true. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling, right? It's like if you suddenly saw Godzilla outside, and it's real. I mean, come on, that's got to have a mind-bending effect on someone. So I think you almost probably blurt that out as a terrifying. And here's the other thing, Connor. At this point, with that much fear and confusion, maybe he totally blanks and he thinks he's still got two parents. You know what I mean? He's so
All right.
freaked that he's just saying whatever. Somebody knows where our parents, because a kid would look to their parents as their protector. So
Yeah, they would.
that comes flying out of you like with sheer terror. So I'm gonna take it back to yup, okay? And let's see what you can do with that. Yup, you look just like him. And besides, I hate kids. Now, which one of you should I slice up first?
I gotta say, I like your voice of Rock Jones
Let the
right
man do
now.
the part. Come on.
I need to let you. Well, you're an actor too in this. I like
Yes,
that
thank you.
voice now. Because
Thank you.
before, originally on the computer, I felt like it seemed too
All right,
much.
we'll work
Where
on it.
now it's not. I like it.
All
It sounds
right,
more
okay, we'll
natural.
work on it. Can we let the man do his bit?
Well, we're doing your bit too. I'm not just directing them. I'm directing you.
Fair enough. But because mine's going to be something probably dealt with in post.
Okay, that's
All right.
fine.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. Yup, you look just like him. And besides, I hate kids. Now, which one of you should I slice up first?
Our parents know we're here.
Okay. That's a start. Um, maybe what will help immediately is a beat between me saying it and the realization.
I'm gonna like yell it. Like I'm just trying to.
Again, I don't want to do the how. I hate how. I always
Okay,
try to do
fair.
why. So think
Okay.
about why you're saying this.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that there might be a bit of like a freeze reaction where you freak out at first because this is unbelievable, and then almost think this is like imagine this, like somebody jump scares you and you get so freaked out you throw whatever you had in your hand at them. You were carrying something, and you freak out so much you just throw it at him because you're terrified all of a sudden. So think about throwing this line at him, and let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Yup, you look just like him. And besides, I hate kids. Now, which one of you should I slice up first?
Our parents know we're here.
Okay, that was better. Try that feeling again, but slow the line down for me,
Okay.
and give me a longer beat after my question. So you're frozen at first, and then this comes out. And I'll just read now which one of us. Now, which one of you should I slice up first?
Our parents know we're here.
All right, that's. I think we went back a couple steps. Um,
Well, I think that showed fear.
it did, but it was almost too like cliched.
It seemed kind of a little theatrical. You're saying.
This is not an easy one, so it's not I'm not surprised we have to work on this a bit.
You know what? Maybe you say it a little quicker because it's like you're frightened to the point where like you didn't even need to think to say our parents know we're here. I mean, it was just an immediate reaction to say our parents know we're here. Maybe say it a little faster. I actually think that can like I want to try one. Let's try that. You say it really like I want you to just blurt it out. Our parents know we're here. I think that might work.
like jump on my line, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I just like all right, like you said, don't do demonstrations, but like our parents know we're here. Like
That's
real
what I was.
quickly, except
That's what I was envisioning too. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, put your own take on it, but keep that in mind. I want it to just be blunt.
Okay.
Like I want it to just come out of your mouth without even thinking it.
All right. So try to almost cut me off then. Let's see what happens with that.
Okay.
All right, ready? Now, which one of you should I slice up first?
Our parents know we're here.
Okay, but you didn't jump on me. So try jumping, try cutting me off. Like start the line before I even get the question finished. And let's see what it does, okay?
Maybe do it when he says cut. When he says cut up first, or maybe the second he says cut.
You mean slice?
Yes, same thing. I mean, you know
I
what I
think
mean.
that's a bit too soon,
Okay.
but he knows what we're asking, so let's try it again.
Wait, so when do you want me to intervene?
Use your judgment.
Try jumping on my line. Like try to say it before I finish speaking. Okay.
At any point, or in like
Yeah.
Use your judgment first, and we can then make suggestions.
Exactly. All right, ready? Now, which one of you should I slice up first?
our parents know we're here.
All right, you still let me finish the line, but I kind of like the way you did that. So start the line even sooner if you have to. Don't let me finish the word. Ready?
Okay.
Now, which one of you should
Our
I?
parents know we're here.
I think that was too soon. I think you need to say the word slice first, because once he says slice, it's perfectly clear he's talking about you. He's gonna kill you. I mean, which you kind of have an idea, but once he says slice, that's when I think that full fear.
Yeah, we can take care of that on the day with takes. But I think he nailed. Did you like what he did with it?
I liked it. I
Yeah,
just want him to try interrupting the second you say slice.
yeah, we can work on that. So we could do it a couple more times if you want. But I think he
I
nailed
just
it.
think one more for now, because that's something we'll have to do on set to get it right. But
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to do
So
one more right
give it
now.
one more shot and try to hang on to the way you felt when you said that. Okay.
But again, wait till do it right
Yeah, he's got
after
it.
he
He's
says the
got it.
word
He's got it.
slice. Okay.
Now, which one of you should I slice up
Our
first?
parents know we're here.
You waited till after. You were supposed to say it when he said slice.
It's okay.
We
He's
can work
got
on
it.
it, and it's okay. You got the hang of it, though. I like how you're saying it.
Part of that's also Zoom, Connor. There's a bit of a lag, so he
All
isn't cutting
right.
me off. So,
Okay.
but I like that. I like that. That was scared Luke to me. That looked like
was really
scared as fuck Luke. So that was
Luke's
good.
being a little bitch. I liked it.
Luke's being a virgin.
Yeah, he calls Justin the virgin, and then he's acting like funny.
All right. So not the important ones. Blah 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 blah. So do you want me to read my lines? You want to direct me?
You can read you can read your lines.
All right.
But right now I'm not really directing you because you got it. I mean, I'm gonna focus on you when we focus on the rug part separately. This is more to get them into character.
Okay.
Because you're already in character.
All right. Not the important ones. Not the ones descended from those bushwhackers that killed me. We already took care of them.
No.
My favorite part was making the invitations. Once we took care of most of your elders in the bloodline, we realized it would be more efficient if we lured all their kin to one place at one time. Now it's your turn to be trapped.
Hold up, I gotta say one thing. One directing thing I want to take is Christian. After you hear that he killed your mom, you are no longer afraid at all.
Mhm.
You are now just angry. You are no longer afraid of dying. At that point, you just want revenge. You want to murder Ruck and Jack. So you're no longer afraid. You're no longer afraid of death. I mean, you are until it's clear that they killed your mom. Once it's clear they killed your mom, all that fear is gone. It's replaced with anger. And the only thing you care about is killing Ruck and Jack.
Mhm.
And you care about Luke too, obviously. You don't want him to die. But but at that point, no more fear.
Okay.
No more feeling sorry for yourself. Now you're just angry after you hear that he murdered. I'm just letting you know because I know those lines are coming up.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I think at this point, I'm trying to get your goat. I'm trying to stick the knife in further, cause even more pain about your mom.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what Noel, that's terrible.
That
But
was
yeah,
that was the whole
true.
point of killing your parents was to inflict misery and pain on you, and now this is like the ultimate payoff. So once and for all, I'm gonna be rid of all of you.
Well, his mom was part of the bloodline. His dad
Yeah.
wasn't. So it wasn't as much to hurt
So there won't
Christian. It
be
was
any
more to
more of
hurt
them
all of
after
them.
this. I'm getting rid of everybody.
Exactly.
All right. Shame about your mama. Those fancy new driving machines sure are dangerous. I reckon she should have been more careful.
What did you say about my mother?
I wanted to be more angry. That seemed more like you were about to cry. Like I could see why you'd be about to cry. But at that point, again, all the feeling sorry for yourself is gone. You're now just angry.
So here's a thought. Let's see a quick transition from that sorrow and pain to the anger. Let's see it come out of you before you say the line. So I'll read you in. I'll read you in again. Ready?
Mhm.
Shame about your mama. Those fancy new driving machines sure are dangerous. I reckon she should have been more careful.
What did you say about my mother?
I think it's time you joined her, boy.
You know what I'm thinking? Instead of saying, what do you say about your mother? Do you think what would be enough? Because, like, what kind of gives you and, like, maybe a facial reaction? Like, he'll just say, what? And a facial reaction, like, it could make it clear without him saying what. If he's saying, what do you say about my mother? I mean, makes you seem more like a bunch of middle school kids who, like, in seventh grade, like, some middle school. I mean, that seems like something a seventh grader would say, or some immature high school kid. That makes it more like he's just talking shit about his mom. Where if he goes, what? Like, it's now clear. Like, what? Like, what? Like, now it's becoming clear, like, that. I mean, it is clear when Ruck says that, but I'm saying what needs to be more. He just realized that Ruck killed his mom. Where instead of what did you say about my mom, that's more just an insult. Where like, oh, you're talking shit about her. Where no, it's not. You're talking shit about her. It's you fucking murdered her. So I'm wondering if he should say what instead of what do you say about my mom. What are your thoughts on that?
I
I want
think
your thoughts too, Ivis, not just Noel's, because you're the one who's going to be saying it.
I think he needs more verbiage there so we see the roller coaster. I don't think what is enough of a it won't give him enough to emote.
All right.
If we're asking him to make the transition from fear and sorrow to sheer rage, we need to give him a little meat to work with.
All right. Do you think he should say, what did you say then instead
Oh,
of what did you say about my
that I
mom?
kind of like. What did you
Yeah.
say instead of what did you say about my mother? What did
Yeah.
you? Yeah, I kind of like. Let's try that.
Because for me, I like that there's more to say than just what. But I get what Connor said about the like middle schooler.
We could also try some repetition. Like maybe he says, "What did you say?" twice.
Hmm.
So first it's the fear turning into anger, and then it's just solid rage after that.
I think it could get cheesy if you go, what did you say? What did you say? Like, I think he should say, what did you say once. But we have to, I think there should be a
Let's let
pause,
him try it and see
maybe
what
a
he can give us.
pause before he says, what did he say? Because the pause can then show the realization that he fucking murdered his
What if I
mom.
like stutter on what and then I finish with
Well, wait a minute, guys. We're starting to get into
Stuttering
how
when.
again. I don't like
All
how.
right, all right, give it your take, and then we'll
okay.
comment on it.
Shame about your mama. Those fancy new driving machines sure are dangerous. I reckon she should have been more careful.
What did you just say?
I want there to be a look of surprise because you just realized that he killed your mom and then you expect you're not just going solely off anger. There needs to be a look to show or some type of in a way say it where you just realize he killed your mom and then the anger comes out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I almost think that we need more air in this line. There needs to be we need to see that realization and that
Yeah, and there needs to be a facial reaction, not just a like
I want to feel that horrible sinking feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah, so let me try it one more time. Ready? Shame about your mama. Those fancy new driving machines sure are dangerous. I reckon she should have been more careful.
What? What did you just say?
That was pretty good. Yeah, I like that. What did you just say? I think that makes more sense, Connor.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think it's time you joined her, boy. Jack starts laughing. You plunge a knife into Ruck. Blah blah blah.
My
Um,
battery, I have to plug in. Sorry.
no worries. And
We're
then
all having battery issue and all.
and then a fight ensues, and this at this point, Luke has fully shown his true colors, and he's no longer the false bravado. Now he's just terrified. So he's been pretty much frozen during this and unable to do anything. To the point where he actually takes off. He's so terrified and scared for his own life and just freaked out by all of this that he runs away. Um, so so this is a showdown between Christian and Jack, basically, who has morphed into Ruck. So Ruck's back in the body of Jack. So now there's the one figure you're dealing with, but it's the ghost. Um, so I think there's going to be a cool transition here that we're probably going to have to work on uh, throughout the process, both with the production and post production, because it's kind of a reveal. Either it's the lightning or whatever we do to reveal that Jack is morphing into Ruck.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought was Jack is probably going to be wearing a Camp Mishnawak t-shirt. So at some point after he starts that evil laugh, Ruck is going to appear, but he's wearing a Camp Mishnawak t-shirt. So there's like this transitional scene where it's part Jack and part Ruck. But then the next time you see Ruck, he's got his duster on now. So his wardrobe is kind of morphing along with his face and everything. And so we'll give these visual cues that Jack is becoming the ghost figure. And while this is happening, both of you are freaking the fuck out, and Luke just takes off. And I think what the punch, the pinch of this ouch is that Christian asks for help, and that's what freaks you out, and you can't handle it anymore, and you're out the door. And so Ruck watches him leave, and instead of I'm letting him get away, I'm losing one of my victims. He's not worried. For some reason, he knows he doesn't have to worry about him running away because he's got something up his sleeve where he can get him anyway.
Well, because again, he kills everyone at the camp except Christian, so Luke doesn't need to be at the abandoned place because all the other kids who are in their tents or cabins, they end up getting slaughtered after.
Well,
Christian, Luke,
what I'm trying to explain here is that there's what might be obvious to the audience is the ghost is letting one of his victims run away, but he's not, because he knows he can get him anyway. So
yeah,
when
I mean, yeah,
so
'cause
when
where's
so
Luke
when
gonna
I
go? He doesn't have
say
a car.
so when I say I'll take care of him after, that's the ominous foreshadowing of he's not going to get away. Don't think he's getting away. I'm going to
Right.
be able to get him. So you are definitely doomed because you're still here. And if I can get him, even though he ran away, I can certainly get you. So that's, then it's best not to fight it because you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, where the hero moment can happen, because in the face of these unbeatable odds, in the face of this horrific situation where your last chance for help has just run out the door, and you're facing the evil ghost all by yourself, and he's telling you you're doomed, you can either step up or you can give up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a fight, but then Luke has his redemption moment. And I don't know how we're going to do that, but it's probably, we're going to have to do it on day one because it's going to be an exterior shot. But I think that, I mean, in my brain, I see the typical, running up to the camera and stopping in a tight, and then that facial expression of what am I doing? We could try it that way. And then maybe we cut to a look at the ground and there's a big rock where he stopped. Something along those lines. You get the gist. So instead of turning, tucking tail and running, he's going to man up and he goes back with the rock. And it takes us out. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. It looks like we lost Ben, but that's okay because we kind of he had died already. So, how are you guys feeling?
I like it. I mean, oh, my bad, you're asking them, but
No, you too.
I like how I feel like we got in a character today. The auditions, we weren't really in a character. I feel like now we went over a bunch of stuff. We seem like more. You guys seem in a character now. I'm hoping. I mean, we don't have to do this, but maybe do a recording. I mean, one of these.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Like,
Thanks for
no,
that.
and I didn't mean recording. I meant do a rehearsal.